Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's run it. You're not going to convince people that that's not weather engineering at its finest. I mean, it looks like styrofoam. You can't even build a snowman with that. It's honestly ridiculous. Like, our kids play in that shit, you know? My next project is to buy a telescope, sit outside, see what I can catch. I think we're all going to be surprised if we just start looking up, just like that creepy movie, and see what we can catch.
I've seen a lot of crazy stuff looking at these conspiracy theories, but bro, this is literally a hand mixing up a star on a telescope. You can see this on a real telescope. That is a hand mixing up a star. That is a hand. That is literally a hand. That is a hand mixing up a star. With it just rubbing, it's just rubbing the star. It's literally just a hand rubbing the star. And you can look at this with a real telescope. This is real footage. This is just a hand mixing a star. And this is a real constellation or star they call God's hand or something. But it's literally a human hand mixing up a fucking, bro.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine actually being outside with a telescope looking up at stars. It's super creepy. I would probably come unglued, I'm not gonna lie.
Do you stay up at night worried about the next great reset or mud flood? Well, if you do, I'm here to tell you, just like the Bible says 365 times, have no fear. Because that mud flood that you might think the evil controllers of this world created for a great reset isn't at all what you think. In fact, I think there's evidence all over this level flat realm we live in that it wasn't caused by a great reset at all, but something much different. Something I'm gonna circle back to in just a minute. Because whether you realize it or not, you're living in a spiritual world where once upon a time, God asked his watchers to watch over humanity, but instead they lusted. They lusted after human women. And instead of watching over them, they mated with them. And they created abominations, giants that destroyed this level flat plane we live on. And the leader of those watchers, those fallen angels, just happened to be Lucifer, who this painting was done of in 1797. Lucifer, who whether you realize it or not, is being worshipped all over this world. Lucifer, who is also known as Satan and the devil. Lucifer, who they're referring to in this Bible verse about an angel coming down with the key to the great abyss, and he laid hold the dragon, the serpent of old, who is the devil and Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years, and threw him into the abyss, into the earth, and shut and sealed it over him until 1,000 years were completed, and after these 1,000 years, he must be released for a short time. Did you ever notice how the Statue of Liberty has chains on it like he was bound? And here's where we circle back to these giant craters that are left all over this level flat realm. And to me, I know because there's a firmament and there's no asteroids coming in, these aren't giant craters from space rocks. They're something else. And do you know how many watchers there were? How many fallen angels that came down and mated with human women? Well, the book of Enoch talks about 200 fallen angels. And do you know how many craters there are found all over this level flat realm? That's right, 200, and they are all named. And some of their names are a little mind-boggling. So what I think the Great Reset and the mud floods are is nothing more than those 200 fallen angels, including Satan and Lucifer himself, coming up from their captivity of 1,000 years, and they're here to deceive the nations. To fool people into believing that God doesn't exist, to fool people that they're evolved from monkeys, to fool people that they were created from an accidental Big Bang, to fool people that they live on a spinning water ball of infinite other spinning water balls. None of it's true. We're living in a time where the deception is so grand that you can't even wrap your heads around it. And the point of it all is if you can choose light and choose good and choose God instead of the darkness and instead of the evil. So it's up to you. You can believe in all the nonsense, or you can focus your attention on the light and the good and God. Because in my opinion, this nonsense about human resets, it's nothing more than scare tactics to make people who know there aren't asteroids coming from space and aliens coming from other planets, it's a way to keep them afraid. But the resets, they're not real. The only thing that's real is God and the fallen angels, and they're here and they're deceiving us. And once you know they're here, trying to deceive you, trying to turn you away from God, it's easy to see the path to take, and it's away from darkness. And as always, all of this information is just my opinion. I'm only here to entertain.
This guy's actually got a lot of really good content. There's very few places in the world now that you can go city-wise that they're not finding cities under cities or buildings under buildings that we build on top of. The rabbit hole when it comes to the mud flood in Tartaria is ridiculously deep, and something I'm probably going to cover a lot. If you don't like it, you're not awake. So at this point, get locked in because it's deep.
Our first Thanksgiving since Homer passed away.
More turkey, please.
Thank God we still have his hologram.
All right, everyone, get out your remembrance candles. Granny Lisa, why do we light a candle every Thanksgiving? In remembrance of the great blackout that almost destroyed our town, when we actually had to write things down by hand. It started on a cold November day, back when you could actually see snow outside.
If you ain't hip to The Simpsons and all the stuff they predicted and all their episodes and the little subliminal stuff here and there, you might want to go get caught up, because it's a little too creepy at this point.
So as I started to go back into the 1920s, then I was going back into the 1900s, and I got to the Rockefellers owning the educational system. So I started going, okay, well, our educational system's been owned since, let's say 1902, 1903 with the General Education Board. Then for the last 120 years, I'm learning from the Rockefellers, who were oil barons. Then I started researching into Eustace Mullins' work, and that led me to learning about J.P. Morgan's and the Peabodys owning the education system in 1885. It's interesting because around that time too, they debunked the ether, which is a fun topic. After they had the control of the schooling system, they debunked that. So then I thought, okay, well, since 1885, they've been just teaching us what they've been teaching us. What about before that? And this is where I started to look at the world fairs. And I think this is a great one for people to look into, because when you look at these buildings and you see these grand buildings all made out of travertine and granite and stone and all these things, you start to get a little confused why people are on horse and wagon. You see a little bunch of horse and wagon people, and they look really tiny in comparison, to buildings, which are just absolutely massive in that comparison.
I'm really hoping this type of stuff doesn't get my channel banned, but I'm telling you right now, if you go look at the Rockefellers and the stuff that they've done since the late 1800s till now, what they put into play, the educational system, medicinal shit, pharmaceuticals, it gets pretty nasty.
You could live your whole life and not know that the most shocking, profound thing in existence is 3 hits away. 3 hits away. And all of a sudden you're in a completely different universe in 20, 30 seconds. That's nuts. And the fact that that is dismissed, that people look at it as like, oh, you're just escaping reality, and you're like, it might be the source of civilization itself. It might be the source of language. It might be the source of the expansion of the human mind over a period of 2 million years, the doubling of the human brain over a period of 2 million years, which Terence McKenna felt directly coincides with the shifting of the tropical rainforest turning into grasslands, which would force these primates to experiment with new food sources, and these ungulate cows that were everywhere that would shit, and then these psilocybin mushrooms would grow in their shit. Observed primates flipping over these cow patties, looking for beetles and grubs and things to eat. It's everywhere. Like, you can see it all over Africa. If there's something on that, they're going to try it out. And if these things are trying it out, and they're doing this over a period of 2 million years, and they develop language and culture and weapons, and they start thinking about things, and they become different than every animal around them.
I've always wanted to try like DMT or mushrooms or something like that to get a really good hallucinogenic state going, but I don't think I trust people enough to maybe keep me safe or be in a safe place to do it. But yeah, I think it'd be a really good learning experience. I heard it changes people. They come out different, so that would be sweet.
So you think the 24-hour sun in Antarctica debunks the flat Earth, do you? Well, what if I were to tell you we have a physical working model of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica?
I can show it happening in this model. From what I'm seeing of the sun in their footage, it's matching what I see when I do it in here. That to me is just cool.
This light way back here on the edge of the superfluid ceiling, I'm gonna zoom in on that, and then I'm gonna move the sun clockwise around Capricorn and show you that with the superfluid ceiling inside of the dome, the apparent 24-hour sun does happen. So now I'm zoomed all the way in, you see the light moving, and when I move around Capricorn, see, you get that apparent counterclockwise motion. 24-hour sun.
I want you to notice that in both real life and in the model, the sun will squash as it comes down toward the horizon. Kind of how rainbows in the north are really high up and domey, and then the further you travel south, they start to squash down further and further. The claim is that the Earth is a sphere and has a 24-hour sun both in the north and the south, yet the northern 24-hour sun looks like the sun barely gets off of the horizon. In fact, the highest elevation angle for the 24-hour sun in the north is only 23.5 degrees. And what do you know it? It's exactly the same symmetrically for the south, supposedly. Yet during the final experiment, this is about 23.5 degrees, yet the sun keeps climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing in elevation and climbing and climbing and climbing until it's about, I don't know, 40, 45 degrees or something? So what do you think? Is the Earth a globe? Or have we figured out with an actual physical working model that a 24-hour sun is actually possible on a flat Earth? I'll let you decide.
I'm really going to have a day where I cover Antarctica, only Antarctica, and specific things around Antarctica. It's really, really ideal subject to get people to kind of wake up and open their eyes to a lot of other things that just lead down more rabbit holes. But it's places like this where it gets really fun to start really showing people what's out there. You can't even go to Antarctica without being escorted. If you're in a boat and you're on the water and you go too far south past a parallel that you're not allowed to go past, you will be escorted back. If you're in a plane, you will be escorted back or shot down. There's a lot of fundamental value around the subject of Antarctica. Really early 1900s video of one of our pilots. His name was Admiral Byrd. He flew off the tip of South America, flew past the ice, said he flew right into greenery and resources and minerals that would be highly valuable. And then after that, he was pretty much done. His career was over. Really wasn't heard from again until he passed. So there's all kinds of stuff. I'm probably going to use a whole day to cover Antarctica. And that one's coming up probably pretty soon.
Come on, man. One vet to another. Dude, don't do it to another vet. Don't do it to me. Dude, I'm a retired Army guy. Let me help you. Don't make me do this. Let me help you, but not this way. Let me help you. Please drop it, brother. We've lost too many already. I know you're hurting, man. I was too. But I went about 4 months ago. So let me help you, please. I can't do that, man. I can't do that. Believe in Jesus Christ, brother? Don't do it. Don't do it. No, don't do it. I was in your shoes a few months ago, brother. It took everything in my body. Now I'm 6'5", 300-pound parachute. It took everything in my world to call VA and to finally get the help. And I got the help. But I want to help you, man, because I'm tired of losing brothers and sisters. But I can't help you if you don't help me. Okay? The Lord sent me here to you today. He didn't send one of these other guys. He sent me as a vet to you to help you because I'm there. I've been there. Just drop it. Just drop it. Okay? Put your hands on your head for me. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna get you some help. We're gonna start right now. I'm gonna get you over here in Parkview. We're gonna get you taken care of, okay?
Just want to add that clip in there to maybe help remind people to stay humble. That we all need someone at some point. I've been at more low times than I would like to admit, and sometimes you need to be reminded that there is somebody to talk to. You don't have to go around being crazy, man. There are people out here that genuinely care about other people, and there's always someone willing to listen. So, with that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one.